Good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. Hey, a guy on my forums suggested, my forums are vikingpreparedness.com. You can find them from there. He suggested that I do a video on living in a camper, in a trailer. We call it a caravan because it sounds less trashy. Living in a trailer since I've been doing it for a year. We have been living here since last December, winter, spring, summer, and fall, and we have some tips of the trade that we can share, based on our experience, and maybe there's something in there you can use should you decide that you want to live long or even short term in a camper. One thing to understand about us, though, I bought this camper for $300, and I probably put another $300 in it, just to get it more habitable. And there's videos on that. Go back in my video selection. One thing you got to understand is this is temporary. I know I've been in it a year, and I'm going to be in it some more, but it's temporary because we're building a house. And when we build our house, it's a zero-sum game. I only have so much money. I'm not borrowing any money to build the house, and so anything I spend on this camper, I don't have to spend on the house. And so that has motivated us a little bit. If you're going to live in one of these permanently, then, you're probably going to do some things differently. But let's talk about it. Number one, it's an old camper. And because it was an old camper, it had some issues. It leaked on the roof. The first thing I did was paint it with that rubberized stuff you're supposed to paint on camper roofs. It leaked. So then I went over the seams and all the openings and painted it again with this thick goo. It leaked. So I threw a tarp over it. It leaked. So then I put plastic over it and then a tarp over it, tied it down. It's not pretty. If I cared, I'd make it prettier the way I tied it down. It is what it is, and it no longer leaks. Now, the problem with that is in the summertime, the vent caps won't open because that tarp is on top of it. Could have addressed that, but it wasn't really that much of an issue in the summer. And I'll get to heating and cooling here in a second. But the bottom line is, we don't spend that much time in there. You know what we do in that camper? Sleep. That's about it. It's like a tent for us. We're out here working the land, trying to get a community built and stuff like that. We have a couple campers here. We've got a one over there and then one back there. I don't know if you can see that. That people are living in. We have people living in houses down below, stuff like that. So, we have some experience in it. So, weatherproofing, there you go. It gets hot in the summertime. We don't have electricity here. We don't have running water here. And so people have suggested, and they're absolutely right, build an awning over the top of that. Yep, that would work, and it would keep it cooler because the sun would hit the awning and then the air could come underneath it, and that would make a big difference. The reason we didn't, time and money. Okay, just quite frankly, time and money, and it never got bad enough for us that it's like, oh, we got to do something. And so, and it got over 100 here. But again, we don't hang out there in the day. We're out and about working. But an awning over the top would make a huge difference. It would also keep it dry, right? And I could use my vents. Another thing that would be a great addition, which we didn't do for time and money, it gets tight in there. Man, it's so tight in there. It would be to build a porch coming off of this thing, boards coming out or whatever, roof it, and so you have a nice living area out here. You could screen it if you wanted to in the summer. Again, time and money is why we didn't do it, but it would add a lot to this living. And if I was going to live in this thing permanently, the first thing I would do is put a porch on it. Inside, I'm not taking the inside. It's a mess. It's wintertime now, so we have coats and sweaters and sweatshirts, and there is a lack of space in one of these. This is, 7 by 17 feet, and it's for my wife and I to live in. And so there's the place where the little booth, and if you look back at my other videos, you can see it. There's a little booth with 2 chairs. The table comes down. That forms a bed. That's our bed. We added to that, you take the cushions from the table, from the booth, and you lay them flat, and that's supposed to be your mattress. We added on top of that a foam mattress, and then we have, sheets and blankets and a big sleeping bag for when it gets cold. Man, there's just not a lot of room to store stuff in there. And so, storage, premium, downsize, get rid of everything you don't need. You don't need 3 coats, you need 1. Or in our case, we have 2. We have our work coat and our going to town coat. So put everything in its place. Our kitchen, we have 2 coffee cups, a coffee cup and a teacup, one for me and one for my wife. We have 1 little frying pan and 1 little pot, for heating up water. And we don't do most of our cooking in here anymore. We built a kitchen for that, and you've seen that before. which is something else. Build additional space, you know, put a pavilion up or something where you can cook outside. We have ovens in here, and that's nice. Having a working stove in one of these campers is a big plus. We cook pies and roast chickens and stuff like that in there. And it has a stovetop for making hot water and beverages, or, you know, frying something up if you want to. So that's nice. The heater doesn't work in this thing, you know, the propane heater, but we use little buddy heaters, which takes a little propane canister, and we use that to take the chill off. We come in from the day, and before we put on our sleeping clothes, we'll fire that thing up, make it warm in there. My wife's going to take a shower in there, and lately as it's been getting colder, I'm taking a shower in there instead of in the shower house. We heat it up pretty warm, and then take our shower and then let it go down. And then in the morning, I'm the first one up, I crank it up and heat up the trailer just so my wife can get out of bed and get dressed. But then we turn it off. Again, we don't live in there. We live out here. We have work to do. So there's that. Heating and cooling. Summertime, it did get hot. It was over 100 degrees here, and we finally discovered, and it made such a difference, these little battery-powered fans. I think we got them at China Mart, and put those in the windows and in the door. We have a screen door behind that door over there, and put one on the floor and put some in the windows and turn them on. Made a huge difference. Had one blowing on our head while we were asleep, and that made it cool enough to sleep at night. So battery-powered fans. We have battery-powered lights in there that we use. In the wintertime, we use a little oil lamp because it adds additional heat to the place, which is nice. But you're going to need light. But quite frankly, about the time it gets dark, we go to bed. And about the time it gets light, we get up. So we're not using a lot of light in there. Because there is not a challenge for space in there, I would really recommend that if you're going to do this long-term or even medium-term living in one of these things, that you get a shed, you know, a little shed, a little 8x8, 8x10, 8x12 shed, put it next to your camper, and then you can store extra clothing, food, fuel, you know, whatever in there. That would be good. I took this truck box, and hey, I didn't pick up for this video. It's life in the raw. I took this truck box that I had, and I just put it up on some bricks, and that's like some waterproof storage. We use trash cans. This is not a trash can. Well, it is a trash can, but we don't keep trash in it. We store stuff in it, and it keeps it, you know, out of the weather, and so we do that. So I recommend that. You're going to need water containers if you're totally off the grid, something to think about. We pump all our water into these 5-gallon cans and into these recycled juice cans. These are empty. We put them in here so they're not floating all over the yard until we go fill them back up. But you'll need those. We use these solar-powered lights. These are really cool, and they work well. We take some of them, that one my dog destroyed, and that one my dog knocked down. But we take them and we stick them out in the sunlight, and then we bring them into the campers at night, and that gives you like a little night light or something. And so that's a good idea. We've cooked outside before. We haven't cooked in this one for a couple months, but this is a little fire with a little tripod. And, you know, it makes it nice to hang out here. Again, if you built the overhang or build a porch, that would be nice. In nice weather, we do sit out here in our little lawn chairs. And, you know, we tried to make it look like yard. Again, it's a mess because I didn't pick up for you. But, you know, make a little yard with rocks and a little walkway and, you know, little touches of home. But again, we're looking at it, it's a zero-sum game. All the time we spend on here, we're not spending working on the house or the roads or the chicken coops or you know, whatever. So get you some extra space, weatherproof it. An awning would be great. A porch would add so much to it. Make sure you get along good with the person you're living with, because it's tight quarters. You know, I've been in here a year and I'm starting to get a little claustrophobic. I'm ready to expand, you know, which is why I'm working on my house right now, day and night. We keep this puppy ready to go. We go over it about every 3-4 months, the tires, and making sure that, you know, we could jack it up, jack it down, and roll out of here with it if we had to. You know, just a contingency plan. So hey, that's some tips I have for living in a trailer. If anyone else, or a camper, or a caravan, if anyone else has any, go ahead and put them in the comments. You know, I'm always welcome to listen to them, and I'm sure other people will be interested as well. And I will see you out there.